Hi, this is Chris Foreman from Madness, and you're listening to the Stateside Madness podcast.
Hi there, folks out there. I'd like you and me, Tommy McGuire's combo.
Hello, and welcome to the Stateside Madness podcast, the one and only podcast of the official Madness American fan service. I'm Lori, along with my co-host Polly, here to bring you news, reviews, and deep dives into the nutty sound of the British pop band Madness. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Stateside Madness podcast. I'm Lori.
And this is Polly.
And we've got a lot to celebrate, starting with the upcoming release of Our House, The Very Best of Madness. It's being released on March 12th and is an exclusive U.S. release. We'll no doubt continue to talk about that more in the podcast.
That we will, along with two contests we've got for Stateside Madness fans to win copies of the Our House compilation. And those are courtesy of our friends at BMG USA. They were nice enough to give us a bunch of copies, and we'd like to pass them off to you. But we've been teasing about a very special guest in the previous podcasts on Facebook and things like that. And so why don't we get right to it? We happen to have with us today Chrissy Boy, Chris Foreman. And we're going to be asking them all sorts of stuff. So, Chris, thank you for joining us. And if you'd be so kind, why don't you tell us kind of what the last year's been like for you?
Oh, yeah, pretty normal. Up in my loft. There's something been going on that I've missed. That's been terrible, of course. Last March, we were going to go to Dubai. And I kind of got up and I was like, get out. Get some hot weather, and suddenly tour manager pulled off. And it's been like that ever since, really. And it's kind of like I had all this stuff in my calendar, obviously coming to the USA. So all year, this stuff would come up in my diary, like I'm supposed to be in Paris, and I'm in a shopping mall in England. But it's been difficult for everyone, isn't it? I've got a nice house, I've got a big garden, I'm not in I'm sort of on the outskirts of Brighton, so it's okay, for me. Guys, what's it been like? Terrible? I suppose. Sorry, yeah. No
matter. So I suppose that's the same for very nearly all of us. We were so looking forward to the American tour, but we're willing to hang in there.
Yeah, I can't really be. I still get sent the sales figures, but it's kind of like I don't know if we're going to come. I'm afraid this year anyway. Punk rock bowling's been put off again. We had a lot of stuff. I mean, I've written a few songs. That's good. And we've met up a few times. The band, I can't really remember why. We started renting this unit. Yeah, there was a kind of thing here where it all calmed down a bit, and you could almost go back to normal. And we're renting this kind of industrial unit, and we've put a load of equipment in. And we met, and we kind of came up with a couple of songs. So, we're ready.
Great. And we'll be looking forward to that.
Well, we should probably mention that we also have in our studio Bobby, who is one of our Stateside Madness administrators on Facebook, and he's also going to be joining us for this Q&A session as well. So thanks for being with us, Bobby. All right, so question for Chris. So why are you releasing an American compilation at this time? And second part of that is, what's your favorite song on the compilation?
Well, the compilation was supposed to tie in with his tour. So I guess they kind of had it on the, spreadsheets for a while. you know, and I suppose they have to kind of release it at some point because I suppose they must have manufactured it, and that's the kind of business side of things. My favourite track, I don't know, gee, you know, it's kind of all of our hits, isn't it? I mean, I always really like the Prince, you know, for some, you know, and I enjoy playing it live. It doesn't get too tired. There's just something about that song. So I'd go with that. It is on the compilation, I assume.
Buster, he sold the heat with a rock steady beat. An earthquake is erupting, but not in Orange Street. A ghost dance is preparing. You got to help us with your feet. If you're not in a mood to dance, step back, grab yourself a seat. This may not be uptown Jamaica, but we promise you a treat. I bust the phone me over with your bogus stairs, shuffle me off my feet. Even if I kept on running, I'd never get to Orange Street. So I'd say there's nothing left to say.
I do hope you guys get to tour America because I've never seen you live. And this was going to be the year I was going to go to Vegas and finally see you. This was going to be my life goal.
Vegas.
Yes.
I love Vegas.
Oh, so do I. So fingers crossed that we get some.
Yeah, you know, we were, you know, as you say, stoked. You know, because I get loads of cheap clothes.
Vegas is good
no,
for
you
that.
know, it's
Yeah.
fantastic. You know,
Yeah.
like stuff like Penguin. I'm not allowed to, you know, promote a brand. I went in the Penguin shop last time I was there, and I was wearing a shirt, and the guy said, "If you come in wearing, you know, a Penguin, you get a discount." So, you know, win-win.
Hey, this is Bobby. Hi, Chris. Pleasure to meet you.
Hey, Bobby.
So just echoing what Lori said, I mean, I've been really looking forward to you all coming to the States. I've not seen you before. I do have tickets for the Boston and New York shows.
Yeah.
Very much hoping to see you at some point here.
Yeah.
So back to the album, the compilation album. You know, what's kind of your hope for the album? Is it meant to reconnect with U.S. fans, or is it meant to bring in new U.S. fans, or what's your feeling about kind of the release of this album in the United States?
Yeah, it's a kind of like, you know, keep the wheels, you know, the big wheels going, and yeah, maybe people think, oh, what's this? It looks pretty cool, and like discover us, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah, but it's not like a concept album, should we say? And haven't you got any Madness stuff to wear?
I was planning on buying everything at the merch table in Boston. I still will.
I'm kidding. He's the man.
Chris, so the compilation seems to be a little bit more retrospective than the only American sort of compilation, which really wasn't compilation so much as a repackaging. Back in the 1983 US Madness release for Geffen.
Yeah.
And a lot of longtime fans kind of felt like that fell short of the mark. But
Yeah.
whereas this one seems to be a lot more representative of where you guys were at that time, particularly with the standard, you know, trademark Madness songs.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any influence on what gets selected for the tracks, or do you feel it was just kind of obvious what the songs were going to be?
Yeah, it's kind of really difficult because, you know, we were originally on Stiff Records in England, you know, for pretty much all our career. But we did an American deal with Sire Records, which was Seymour Stein, who's kind of a legend. You know, we really like Seymour and we like Sire Records, you know. So we kind of like, we kind of went along like that for a few years. And then the Geffen thing came about because a guy from Geffen called John Kolodner, who's another legend, he came to England and he heard our house and he said, this is a hit, you know. So that Geffen thing is kind of like Frankenstein's, you know, it was based on the album we had out. It was based on Rise and Fall, I think. The album without, it was that. And then they kind of like licensed some other tracks, you know. So I suppose, you know, this is the first kind of quite comprehensive look, you know. I mean, I'm sure we've done loads of hit albums, you know, greatest hits albums. Everybody does. It's kind of like that Walt Disney thing, you know, where they used to re-release a film every, you know, and it's kind of like a good idea. You know, I'm not anti it. So, you know, we try and make sure that the artwork's good and, you know, stuff like that. And yeah, that was the idea. It wasn't like, because actually, really, we kind of did a similar album in England with a similar artwork, you know, and I thought that was it might go down well with our American friends, you know, that artwork. Because I think the one they had suggested wasn't that good, actually. But yeah, that's it. It's not like, you know, some master game plan. It's like, you know, that was to accompany the tour, you know. Maybe we'll release another one next year. Hey.
So one of the things that's notable about this particular compilation is this is the first time that you've released this song Bullingdon Boys on a physical medium.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
What can you tell us about that?
I mean, what you got in America, you got like Harvard and places like that, haven't you, I suppose? And it's about this sort of group of people that became very influential. And there's this club called the Bullingdon Club, you know. And yeah, you know, a lot of them are you know, Prime Minister. He's one of the Bullingdon Boys. Yeah, so that's kind of what it's about, yeah. You know, the elite, as it were. So it's kind of, yeah, good to have some contemporary stuff on it as well.
Things can only get much better, bitter, better, butter, mutter. We are the Bully Boys, move late at night, don't make much noise. Up the stairs from the den, followed by our Batmen. These are the chosen few, and these are coming through, and we know just what to do. It's robbing to rescue. Eton boys are undefiled, the Bullingdon Boys running wild, and England slides into the mist. No hope, they'll cease, no desist. We are the Chancellor's Brigade.
All right, that's you, Bobby.
All right. So this Go-Go's documentary that was released fairly recently has a lot of people talking, and I'm wondering what it was like to hang out with the Go-Go's. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I haven't. It's a shame, you know, because I really wanted to be in the documentary, but I live in Brighton, you know, and for one reason or another, I didn't make it. But I mean, we came to LA. It's the first time we'd been there, you know, and we played in the Whiskey. And I was at the hotel, and the rest of the band went to see the Go-Go's because they were doing, you know, they just and they came out and they go, oh, you know, this girl has a, you know, Charlotte, you know, she had the old whammy arm, and you know, they were great. They were great, you know, they were great fun, and they were a great band. They really were, you know. They had some good songs, and you know, they rocked. We had great affection for them, should we say.
Well, they've been nominated for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame too. What do you think, Chris? Do you think they stand a chance of getting in?
Why not? You know, why not? I mean, of course, I'd refuse. I saw this thing on Twitter where they asked the Sex Pistols in 2005. So go look that up. The Sex Pistols sent a letter. Anyway, yeah. No, I mean, good luck to them. Yeah, I think they should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, definitely. Yeah, they get my vote.
Chris, while we're on it, kind of like that time around the early 80s and, you know, where you are, people you knew, what was your favorite other band from that era?
That's difficult, really. I have to say Van Halen. You know, no, it's because we came, I don't know when that album came out, they did You Really Got Me. And it was on the radio in heavy rotation. And I went and got the album that's got that on. And I kind of really like that. But they, you know, I didn't go and see them. But I mean, I liked a lot of things. But really, yeah, it's hard to say. because a lot of the time we'd be playing with all those other, you know, specials, and we'd be playing with all those kind of bands, you know what I mean? It's quite a different, yeah, there wasn't really, I liked quite a lot of stuff, you know, really, in the 80s. You know, when hip hop came out, I really like Run DMC, you know, Schoolie D, flipping LL Cool J, and I suppose that was, maybe that's a bit later, but yeah, I mean, I'm quite eclectic, so I didn't really have, you know, a favourite per se. But yeah, I like a lot of stuff now.
I'm glad you mentioned Van Halen for a couple of reasons. One is I know you're an AC/DC fan, and you know, not a lot in the way of hard rock sound really transfers through to Madness, and with good reason. We're not. That's not an ask. Keep it just the way it is. But the Kinks, I try to ask everybody about the Kinks every time I get. And where you mentioned, you really got me. The Van Halen cover. How formative would the Kinks have been in your sound, or just for you as a fan?
Yeah, because I wrote a song called Ernie, which is on our second album, and Clive said it's really like the Kinks, you know. And I kind of grew up, you know, the Kinks were around. You know, they were absolutely brilliant. And at that time, you know what I mean? At that time in my life, you know, I never think, oh, I'll write a song that sounds like the Kinks, you know? But then you kind of realize, yeah, and also it was also even like the song was about quite a strange thing. You know, Ernie is a machine that picks these numbers like a lottery, you know? And it's a kind of government lottery. So, yeah, these things called premium bonds. I've got some actually. Last year I won like, not a lot, but you know what I mean? About 4 or 5 times I won £25. And it's not a fortune, but you don't get anything with your money in the bank.
So when you give me coming along, halls and up the stairs, get the black teapot in the cupboard under chairs. All your wives tells a forecast of dividends when early bill vibrations only pays out to trusting friends. One more try to get what you never had. One more bob for the old world, it can't be bad. We can't all win. Look, it's happening, the future's looking on so bleak. 1,000 winners every week. 1,000 winners every week.
But the Kinks, yeah, they were, you know, it's some of these things, it's like, I don't know, it's like, you sort of write a song and then you think, oh, it does sound a bit, you know. But you don't, you know, I never set out thinking, I'm going to write a song like this, you know. I did one the other day, it's sort of a bit like Brian Ferry or Roxy, later Roxy, you know, who we also liked a lot. But yeah, anyway, sorry. You can edit this.
Well, no, that's great. And actually, so speaking of songwriting, so you and Carl co-wrote the band's biggest international hit, right? Our House.
Yeah.
When you guys recorded it and when you did the video, but was there ever any kind of feeling, did you guys know that was going to blow up internationally the way it did?
And I've been talking about this recently. It's sort of like, you know, I came in with this song and it wasn't really very good. And he did the lyrics, and then the band slowly, you know, we got it a bit Motown. I suppose, yeah, we did used to think, you know, especially the first couple of albums, get a song right, but do it ska. You know, you do it kind of offbeat. We were always sticking that thing in. And then, you know, we kind of got away from that. But, you know, we thought we'd try and do this, and we did it kind of Motown. And I think our producer, he was the one that really made Our House, you know, that it kind of changes the rhythm, which I didn't really think at the time. But yeah, I didn't think, no, I thought this is good, you know. But I thought Tomorrow's Just Another Day. I thought that's the one. I thought it was so good. It would be a bigger hit. This one, yeah, it's done very well, and like I do quite well out of sync licenses, you know, like people wanting to use it. So yeah, it's done me well.
I have to make a confession, and so Polly's gonna laugh at me. Polly always laughs at me. So I grew up watching your videos on MTV, and when I first saw the video for Our House, I absolutely fell in love. But the scene where you're playing, first you're playing on the tennis racket, and then you're kind of going through like the 60s and then the 70s glam. I honestly thought you were 3 different people. I didn't realize that it was the same person.
It's just a costume, isn't it? Actually, you know, it's like, yeah, because I just thought, for once, you know, we got a song that hasn't got a sax solo, because Lee was always, you know, I want to be flying through the air. I thought, I want to be like a kid with a tennis racket, you know, starting off, and then going through all those, you know, eras of music, rockabilly, you know, another favourite thing of mine, rockabilly. But yeah, it's fun doing that. Yeah.
Really interested in knowing about any of your past experiences on U.S. tours. What's one of your favorite memories or experiences from touring the U.S.?
Oh, blimey. I mean, you know, the first time we ever went to America, we went to New York, and we've been told it's going to be quite cold. So we had those coats, you know, those Crombie coats. So we kind of going around a bit like this gang, you know. And we had this manager at the time, and he said, guys, I'm going to be busy. Go to this bar. You know, there's this bar, you know, that everybody goes to. All the musicians go there, you know. So we kind of rock in this bar, you know, and we sort of, and I was thinking, hey, there isn't many chicks, you know. And it was a gay bar, you know, and it was just hilarious, you know, because we had such a laugh, you know, because it was that kind of thing where, you know, the kind of lumberjack kind of thing, you know, well, not lumberjack, I don't know. I don't want to get in bad territory and be un-PC or something. Do you know what I mean? We didn't kind of realize that everybody in this bar was gay. And we had, so that was like one of the earliest experiences, of going to New York. And we stayed in this hotel called the Iroquois Hotel. And we get in this hotel, and it's like, just like you've seen in the films, you know, it's all marble. There's some old black guy cutting people's hair. You know, it was just, we thought this is, and you got up to the rooms, like, you know, the doors were, all the doors had been jemmied open. They had all, you know what I mean? It was like such a dodgy hotel. So it's kind of like so we love New York and Boston and flipping, we took to America, you know, because you guys kind of talk English, you know. We won't talk about Canada, but New Jersey, what was it? We deliver anywhere except New Jersey, you know. That was, I kind of got all the references, you know. But I think that first tour was great, you know. Except it was hard because we were in these cars. And all they had was FM radio. That's probably where I heard Van Halen, you know. But so that was pretty tough. But I mean, that was our first, you know, tour. It was great, you know, because we, like, New York, you know, we were playing in these kind of cool clubs, and LA, you know, it was whiskey. But then in between, there was some funny places. Boston was great. There's the Paradise Club in Boston. But we had a lot of fun, you know. I don't think you can kind of beat that first experience, you know, of everything that we'd seen on television. You know, to us, it was so exciting. You know, like, I suppose you guys, maybe you see England and Big Ben, and I don't know if you've been to England, you know, and then you get there, and ooh, you know, it's like that, you know, it's Times Square. Look at those taxis. Because, you know, those big yellow New York cabs, you know, which Travis Bickle, of course, had in Taxi Driver, you know, we were like obsessed with them, and we would only get in them. We you know, because as the years went by, they sort of faded out, but we used to think we're only going to get in one of them, you know. We won't get in these other, you know, fancy ones. But I thought that was such a cool car. I always wanted to get one of those. But anyway, that's kind of touring, and then it got worse. No, it's always been fun, you know, really, you know, America, you know.
Real quick follow-up, if you don't mind. You've mentioned a couple times the whiskey in LA, and of course the whiskey is very much associated with the Doors. And I'm wondering about any influences from the Doors, or what your thoughts are about that band, the Doors.
No, I didn't even, probably when we played there, I didn't even know I didn't know the reference, you know, do you know what I mean? And I kind of, you know, the Doors kind of, don't really know that, you know what I mean? I kind of know the popular songs. Sometimes I hear something, I think, oh, that's pretty good, and it's like them, you know. But no, they didn't, it didn't, no.
I've got a follow-up question to that then, I guess. So Lemmy from Motorhead was practically a fixture at the Whiskey towards the end of his life. Were you ever a Motorhead fan at all?
Yeah, I saw them. I saw them. They supported Pink Floyd at this place called Earl's Court. Yeah, sure. No, was it? I can't remember. Someone had a plane come down. Yeah, maybe it was Motorhead. It would have been. But yeah, they were great. They were great. And like, there was this place in London called the Embassy Club, which was a nightclub. And Lemmy used to always be in there, you know, in the early 80s. He's on the fruit machine, you know, just continually losing. He never used to win. But yeah, he was quite a character.
So not a real touring question, but a concert question. Our friend Donald, who happens to not be with us today, but he does our blog and website and part of the admin team, he's dying to know about Showtime. And sort of...
I can tell you that. I can tell you what happened. Sometimes, in fact, it was in America. There was me, Lee, Carl and Suggs, you know, we were quite a little gang, you know, and we went to see The Matrix, you know, the first Matrix film. And, you know, it's quite mind-blowing. And there's this guy in front of me with his girlfriend, and he's getting really, you know, agitated, you know. He's loving it, you know. He's really one of them New York. I think it was New York. Yeah, it was New York. It's one of those guys, yeah. So there's a bit in The Matrix, if you haven't seen it, where he says, we need guns, lots of guns. And all these guns appear. And this guy went, yeah, Showtime. And you know why the guy said it? He said, because he knew it was going to be absolute mayhem, right? So, you know, go many years later, we're doing this show somewhere. And I was a little bit, you know, refreshed. And I looked at the set list and I thought, you know what? After this song, you know, it was all hits, you know, right at the end, you know, it's all hits. And I thought, it's Showtime. It's Showtime, you know. And I said, Suggs, give me the mic, you know. And I went, hey, you know, I don't know, I think I just said, it's Showtime, you know. And like, you know, because me and Suggs, you know, we generally have a lot of fun on stage, making fun of each other, you know, or I try and make him laugh. Sometimes I annoy, you know, really annoy him. But he thought it was really funny. So the next gig we do, he goes, what time is it? You know, so I went, Showtime. And then I started going, you know, let's get ready to rumble, you know, and then one day I thought, you know, I've gone as far as I can with this. So I got Highway to Hell. I got Highway to Hell and I put it in a music thing. So I just had the beginning, you know, and I kind of did it all, you know, and then I just spliced in the choruses. And we were in Amsterdam, you know, I hadn't told any of the band. So I got the sound guy, you know, on stage to play Highway to, I said, you know, because he went, what time is it expecting me to do, you know? I used to maybe try and tell some jokes as well. So he says, what time is it? And the, you know, Highway to Hell comes out of the PA. And I start singing Highway to Hell and the band are like, you know, and Highway to Hell, it's like, I think you could go to the Amazon rainforest and they would know it. You know, the most remote, anywhere in the world, everybody knows that song, you know. So, yeah, they were like mind boggled. And then, you know, I kind of like really kind of ran with it and started doing Living on a Prayer was one of my favorites, you know, same kind of method. But then, I don't know, a few years ago, I thought I've had, you know, I kind of stopped doing it. But between me and you, I'll tell you, when we come back, we're going to do it. Yeah, the first show, and I'm not telling them, so that I think that's it. But yeah, Highway to Hell is, you know, because it is like, and there's some things in me doing. There's some really good ones, you know, some really good ones where the audience have filmed it. Yeah, there's people like booing, obviously. I mean, you know that band. Oh, that's one of my favourite bands, the Hives. You know the Hives. They're kind of, and they are flipping brilliant. They're flipping brilliant. Check them out. Check them out, Bobby. They're kind of like, sort of kind of punky, but they're really nutty. And they do things like, you know, they'll all wear top hats. They kind of look really good. And we played them a few times. And I really like them, you know, and I was having a drink with them. And the singer went, hey, you know, why the karaoke? I said, that is not karaoke. You know? But yeah, that's where it came from watching The Matrix, you know, to my looking at that set list, you know. And I mean, I was doing that Let's Get Ready to Rumble, and then somebody said, you know, if you go to America and say that, you could, because that guy owns the rights to it or something. So, you know, I'll probably get sued for like $1 billion or, you know. I got it, you know, I got $1 billion right here. That's what I like about America. You know, we won't talk about Donald Trump, but you know, like, you know, the vote, it was all rigged, and like, they all said this voting company's machines were, you know, fixed, and they're suing them, but it's sort of like for $1 billion. It's like, can't you just go $1 million? You know, it's like, but it's cool. That's, you know, it's one of the things about America, you know, and people get sent to prison for 1,000 years. You know, why not? Why not? Sorry.
All right, gentlemen, I want to make sure that, I know we still have some more questions, but I want to make sure that we're being respectful of Chris's time. So Chris, how are we doing as far as your schedule is concerned?
Chris hasn't got diddly to do. My wife wants to go to garden centre, so, you know, I'm here all day.
I walked on in no hurry, and wondered where did we go wrong. Things are changing by the better. Go the picture, teach the blues to you, my brother.
You might have noticed that I'm a fan of the English beat, or the beat as you all call them in England. And I'm curious as to what your experiences are with the English beat, with the beat, maybe playing with them. What are your thoughts?
You know, I probably saw them a few times, you know, and we did a song called Victoria Gardens, and Roger and Dave, isn't it? Dave. Someone, but you know, we weren't really that, you know, I mean, I always really thought their records were great and they sounded great, you know. And you know, I was talking to someone the other day, and it's a shame, you know, a lot of our contemporaries didn't kind of make it, you know what I mean? They kind of split up, or, you know, that's what happens. But yeah, I like them, yeah.
All right, Chris, so on many of our earlier podcasts, I am always hypothesizing about how young British folks got into ska.
Yeah.
And so my question to you is, you know, early on in the formative days of the band, you know, who of the members were really bringing, you know, ska into your sound, and who... Did any of you, you know, once you did get going, did any of you really feel like there was a real movement happening, a shift in, you know, musical styles?
What are you doing, Bobby? What you playing around at, boy? You standing up? He's gone miles away, and he's gone small. Look. Yeah, I think the thing was, you know, and I always say this to anyone starting a band: if you're starting a band, find some sort of songs that you like and learn them and play them, unless you're some geniuses and you've got your own songs straight away, which is nothing wrong with that. But that's what we did. So we started this kind of band, and we were playing like the Coasters, Fats Domino, Elvis, Tequila. We're doing all those kind of old standards, right? And I think it's probably Suggs. He said, "Oh, I've got you some," and I think it was actually Georgie Fame doing Madness, and we thought, "Oh, this is good," you know. So I think we kind of started doing that, and we started doing One Step Beyond. I'm trying to think, and it's just like because we liked it, you know, because we like those songs. It wasn't any kind of, you know, and to tell the truth, you know, I've never thought we really played that music brilliantly compared to a lot of the other bands. But so we kind of start doing that and dropping all the standards, you know, and then we start writing our own songs, some which were a bit reggae, but, you know, something like Land of Hope and Glory isn't, or Bed and Breakfast Man. So we had this kind of, you know, weird little thing going, and then this band Specials started getting, you know, pretty big, and we're thinking, oh, right, you know, and then we met them. Suggs met Jerry Dammers, and it's all, you know, and he said, we got this band, and they put a single out. But so we kind of became part of this thing, and I think it's because all of these bands, they were all kind of around about our age, you know, although I'm older than some of them, but, you know, we can remember when that music first came out, you know, that we liked it, but, you know, we also liked glam rock, you know, everything. That's, you know, one of the things about our band. I think everybody's got very, very taste, you know, not one, you know, just one thing, but that was kind of it. And it wasn't, you know, like, you know, I mean, we never said we are a ska band. In fact, if you look at the second album, I kind of said that in an interview, you know, I don't think we were, but it was a great thing to be involved with, you know, and we do, yeah, I mean, every now and then, I wrote this really good kind of reggae song the other day, you know, actually, yeah, I've done a couple. It's very good. I mean, I was trying to think of some way I could play them to you. I'll have a look on them while we're talking. Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, it wasn't like, I don't know, I don't think anyone thinks, right, we're going to be, well, you might think, yeah, we're going to be a heavy metal band, you know? No, I often say to people, if you're starting a band, you know, learn stuff that, songs that inspire you, and, you know, unless you're like really clever or a Prince or someone, you know, you've got loads of stuff. So we were doing a lot of rock and roll standards like Poison Ivy, Tequila, Jailhouse Rock, Fats Domino, Yeah, I'm Walking, yeah, stuff like that. And then I think maybe Suggs had a copy of, I think it was Georgie Fame doing Madness, which Georgie Fame was an English jazz musician. You know, he was really good, and he did a really good version of it. So we thought, oh, you know, I don't know if that's the first song we learned. And so we started doing these more kind of reggae ska type things because nobody else was doing it. And we were also influenced by Ian Jury, who had a band called Kilburn and High Roads. And Kilburn and High Roads did kind of reggae type, you know, rock and roll kind of mishmash. And they had a piano and they had a sax, which is what we had. So, you know, lo and behold, the Specials come down to London and they're kind of doing this sort of stuff, you know, and Suggs went to see them and we met them, and there you go, you know, we became part of the two-tone thing for a short period of time. And kind of like, I wouldn't ever say we were a ska band, you know, really, more like pop, I don't know. And that's kind of what happened. And that's that. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise, anyone from my band, because they don't know what they're talking about. They can't remember anything. We did a book called Before We Was We. You may have read it. And before we did the book, we were on tour and we were discussing it. And I said, oh yeah, when we went to America, and you know, most of them couldn't remember that we went to America in 1979. I mean, how you couldn't remember that? I had to go and Google it, you know, boomers, and show them. I won't say who, but it was about all of them. No, yeah, it was a long time. It was crazy times. Like I said, it was crazy times. The other day, I was thinking, Oh, you know, when you think if you could go back in time in your life, I thought LA 1979, you know, walking around to get some beer from this liquor store, and this sort of girl came along with like lycra trousers on, you know, sort of hair on roller skates and collided into me. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen in Camden Town. You know, you don't get that. It's just like, oh my, you know. Anyway, yeah, that's kind of, you know, that's it really. That's the whole band, you know, the whole thing.
All right. Well, you've mentioned that you've been working on writing a few new songs. Are there plans for a new album anytime soon? New content?
Oh yeah, we'll be doing a new album. We're always doing a new album. I was just, did you hear that? Could you hear that?
Yeah, we could hear it. It sounds cool.
But that's just, there's one that's kind of reggae-ish. Oh, where the bloody hell is it? Give me. Oh, ragga. Oh, God. That's no good. Oh, I know. I kind of mixed them onto thingy. That would be easier. Yeah, I'm doing quite a lot of songs that aren't, you know, any particular genre. But I did one that's kind of reggae-ish. Right, see if you can hear this. Cancel. Anyway, that's enough of that. That was some little song I wrote, you know, and I was like, did you hear that?
Oh, yes.
It was awesome. I want to hear more.
It's got a kind of nice little vibe. And I was like sitting on the john and, you know, just contemplating, you know, I was probably on Instagram, you know, I wasn't actually, you know, going to the toilet. And I thought of this tune and I sung it into my phone. That's what I do. And I sing it into my phone and I email it to myself and I drag it into a music thing. And then that's the good one, that. And I've been writing some lyrics. So, you know, could be a few changes around here when you come and see Madness. So Suggs will be just on maracas, you know. And sorry, kidding. He's a good singer, yeah. He's one of the best.
Let's do the top five. And Chris, what we're going to do, Lori and I selected what we feel is our top five songs penned by you. And rather to save you a little bit of time, what Lori and I do normally is we'll talk about it, why we like it. So okay. if you're all right with it, we'll name all five of them and ask your thoughts on them.
Name and shame. I mean, name and blame. Thank you.
All right, so here we go with the top five segment. All right, so Lori, at number 5 is a song that you chose. Which one is it?
Oh, I chose That Close off of The Liberty of Norton Folgate.
Right.
Yeah, no, I adore the entire album. It's my favorite album, but I really, there's something about the vibe of this song, you know, it just, it's just got a nice mellow vibe to it. So can you tell us anything about that song before we play it?
What I can tell you is that, I mean, you know, I kind of like, I had it knocking around for years, you know, and then Lee wrote something. Lee wrote some lyrics and yeah, you know, I'd kind of forgotten about that song, but it was quite good. I wonder if I got it in the old thingy. Yeah, I mean, I can't, you know, and it kind of came out pretty much how, yeah, I always gauge them on how I think of them and how they come out. But that came out pretty, you know, it's like, yeah, nice little song. Yeah.
Is it true that that was kind of inspired by like a near miss car accident, or was that's just kind of an urban legend?
No, I don't think it was.
Okay.
An urban myth, I think.
All right. So number 4 was a choice of mine from Crunch.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay, I'm a policeman.
It's got a few samples in it. That was like really quite, it's quite a fun. It's kind of like when I'm with Lee, he always seems to write these songs that are humorous, and then he writes serious ones with other people. But that was really funny. That is a funny song, yeah. And you've seen the video. The video is pretty funny.
Size is bugging me a price I can't seem to afford to stop no more. Domestic violence baffles me with silence. This boom banger banging on my bedroom wall. It's okay, I'm a policeman. Put the lady down. It's okay, I'm a policeman. And you are under stress.
But again, yeah, that was quite, because a lot of the stuff I did with Lee, it was all kind of programmed. We didn't really. I think the band, I had them playing on that, yeah, because the bass player did a really fast bass line. Old Paul Tabman there, great bass player. But that's I can't tell you that much about it, but yeah, I know that I somehow came across this, the thing they put on police cars that lights up. What are they called? Does anyone know? A flashing light. I had one of them. I used to have it on my amp, and I used to turn it on. It really wasn't, kind of like a U2 show. Do you know what I mean? Because we used to play pretty small clubs.
All right, Lori, why don't you take number 3?
Okay, so our number 3 choice was Shut Up. And there's a legend, again, about when you were filming this video, there was something that happened with the Clash. Do you know the story that I'm talking about, Chris?
I know the story.
And is it true? I mean, can you tell us about it?
I wasn't, when we filmed that video, and with a lot of the videos, it would be me or Lee that would have the ideas. And I had a lot of the ideas for that. And I wanted us to be in an upside down room, like Fred Astaire. And so we kind of filmed tons of stuff all day. And then it was really crazy, we built the room and then we waited. And then they turned the room upside down and we waited. And, and it's kind of like, we finished at 3 a.m. So I don't know how they because the uniforms were hired. They had to go back to the hire place. But I guess some of the guys might have gone to the Clash thing. But the Clash thing.
So they were police uniforms that you're talking about.
Yeah, they were police uniforms. Yeah, sorry. And we filmed the video in West London, which is sort of Clash's manor. But their rehearsal place was in Camden. So I don't know, but it must have, what I'll do, I'll try and find out who told that story and say, well, actually, But yeah, I don't know. I cannot say, I hate to be, what's the word, non-committal, sit on the fence. But I can't say if it's true or not true.
I wasn't there. Don't blame me, it just isn't fair. You listen to their side and I listen to mine. Come think of a story, sure you'll find me sometime. Now pass the blame and don't blame me. Just close your eyes and count
As a matter of fact, speaking of the video, so you're playing in the video the same guitar that Marco Peroni was playing in the Adamant video for what is it, Apollo 9? That Super Yob?
I don't know, was he? God, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, I guess that guitar gets around a little bit though, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, I said I'd seen this thing in a guitar shop, and the guitar looked like a gun. And I said, oh yeah, can someone go and get that guitar? And they turned up with that one. And that guitar belonged to Dave Hill from Slade, you know, legend. And it's a bit sad really, because it ended up in a second-hand shop. So maybe he'd got a bit, you know, so it went back to the shop. Well, not a second-hand shop, you know, big dealer shop. It went back there. And then Marco, I think, yeah, because I know Marco, he saw it in the shop or something. So he bought it. But I don't know if he used it in Apollo 9. I'd have to look that up. I mean, he said, because I've been trying to get in touch with him lately. I used to speak to him a lot because he really knows a lot about guitars. And I said, what's that guitar like? He said, oh, it's terrible. You know, it's a terrible guitar, you know? Looking that up. Apollo 9, that was a laugh. I better turn the volume down, eh? Skip ad. I mean, you never even watch the flipping ad, do you? You know? Anyway, sorry, I can hear you. I am looking.
It's a little bit. It's a little bit further in the video. It's when he gets to the guitar solo. I'm pretty sure it's the same guitar.
Okay. Anyway, sorry, I'm listening. I know I'm kind of watching him.
Okay.
I really like that song. I love that man. You know, like we went away on tour, and we came back, and Ant Music was in the charts. No, he hasn't. Looks like one of the Glitter Band's guitars. It's a star-shaped guitar he's got.
1 minute, 10 seconds into the video.
Okay, let's have a look. Oh, about Adamant. Hold on, I'll try and go back now. You know, I'm always, you know, ready. Oh, I can't bloody find it now. Ready to admit, you know, 1 minute what?
1 minute 10.
Okay. Maybe he did it for solo or something. Because there's this kind of solo, isn't it? 1 minute 10. Maybe it's a different video. Yeah, you're right. That's weird, isn't it? What can I say? You know, Laurie.
Well, no, I was just thank you.
I'm not worthy. That's, you know, that's me flipping, skipping through it, isn't it? I thought, oh yeah, it's got one of the Glitter Band's guitars.
So anyway, that guitar got around.
It did, yeah. And yeah, and he's still got it. He's still got it. You know, I mean, I think I said, oh, you should kind of give it back to Dave Hill. Yeah, I've been trying to get in touch with Marco lately, and hopefully I will soon. Because, yeah, he used to give me good advice on buying guitars and so on, and other kind of stuff.
So, okay, so the number two, we talked about it a little bit already, but our number two was Our House, because for many of us, that was the first song that we heard by you, at least for me. Yeah. We already kind of talked about it a little bit. Yeah. Is there any other little anecdote or anything about Our House that you'd like to share with our listeners?
I mean, when we were recording Our House, there's this kind of solo, you know, you see how well I played that? And I kind of thought that, you know, I often think things up, you know, on the moment and the spur of the moment, as it were. And that I definitely thought it up in the studio, because I thought, you know, I'm not having Lee do another solo, you know, because he would, and then he would have been with the tennis racket and that, you know, he'd be getting all the glory. So yeah, I thought, yeah, that would stop him, you know.
very good time, such a fine time, such a happy time. And I remember how we played, simply waste the day away, then we'd say nothing would come between us.
Well, all right. That gets us just about to the end of everything we were hoping to do. Pretty close anyways. But number one is baggy trousers. And I've just got to say, while I've got you right here, my absolute unquestionable all-time favorite Madness song. And so, yeah, please, by all means, speak a little bit about it.
It's funny. We've been releasing our albums on vinyl, and we've been doing sleeve notes, you know. And then Mike said, I'm always going, well, it didn't come out how I wanted. I had some kind of those chords, you know, more kind of rock and roll, and you know, we pressed the scar button, you know, the kind of offbeat button, and there we were, you know. And I thought, yeah, this is, you know, it's good, but I never thought it'd be a single. I kind of thought it hasn't got a chorus, but I suppose, you know, it's got "Oh What Fun We Had," you know, that's a chorus, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? But I always thought that was a kind of break, you know. And I thought, really, it's at the end when it goes baggy trousers, that's when it's a chorus. Because I don't know these things, just a simpleton. But yeah, it was a shock. You know, it was in the charts for like 38 weeks in England or something ridiculous. It kept going in and out, you know, and like, not back to number one kind of thing. But yeah, it had some longevity and very popular. And Suggs came up with a dang, 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 you know, which sounds like Hootsman by Lord Rockingham's 11. Dang, 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 dang.
Naughty boys in nasty schools, headmasters breaking all the rules, having fun and playing pool, smashing up the woodwork tools. All the teachers in the pub, passing round a ready rub, trying not to think of when the lunchtime bell will ring again. Oh, what fun we had, but did it really turn out bad? All I learned at school was how to bend, not break the rules. Oh, what fun we had, but at the time it seemed so bad, trying different ways to make a difference too. The headmasters had enough today. All the kids have gone away, gone to fight with next to school. Every term that is the rule. Sits alone and bends his cane.
All right, so Stateside Madness fans and future Stateside Madness fans, we've got two contests to celebrate the release on March 12th of the compilation album, specifically for us US fans, the Our House, the Very Best of Madness. Now, we've got a lot of copies on CD, we've got a lot of copies on LP, and we are going to start giving them away. So if you're an existing member on the Stateside Madness Facebook group, go ahead, check it out. We've got the Baker's Dozen promotion giveaway. There's 12 songs on the new compilation. We're asking what would have been your favorite 13th song were it to be on the album. So go ahead, add to that stream, and that's automatically going to enter you in for your choice of LP or CD that we're going to send out to you on the 13th of March. We're getting everybody up until the 12th of March to the release day to weigh in on that. And we've got another one where we're going to ask you to tell all your friends, all those people who have yet to join Stateside Madness, new members of Stateside Madness. For every 25 new members we get up until the 12th of March, we're going to give away, same thing, their choice of LP or CD. All those 25 members, we're going to draw from that. The next 25, we'll draw from that. We're really, really trying to get a lot in the way of new members. We're really trying to give away a lot of copies of these albums. So get right on that and look on all your Madness-related websites, groups. Check out everything we've got on Stateside Madness for details on how to enter that contest. And stay posted.
anything else we need, you guys?
No, just to say thank you for doing this.
Pleasure.
And we definitely wanted to thank Jonathan Young as well, who's
as always the great man.
he is the legend. So Jonathan from MIS was instrumental in setting this up for us, and also instrumental in setting up Stateside Madness, the fan group. And he's kind of been along with us through most of the process. And there'll be a point maybe when we get to talking with Jonathan himself.
And that'd be fun.
Wow, that was an absolutely fantastic episode. I think it's probably one of the best ones we've done. So everybody, thank you for listening. Again, Chris Foreman from Madness, thank you so much for spending time with us. We really appreciate it. And it's a goodbye from me.
And it's a goodbye from me as well. Go get a beer, Stateside Madness.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've got no idea what time it is. I've lost my watch, me Asbo ankle bracelet, and me laptop. Christopher Foreman, the richest, most intelligent member of the band. Do you, by any stretch of the imagination, tell me what time it is, please, mate?
Good evening, thank you. It's time now to, calm down a bit. We're not getting any younger. I'm 47. I'll just tell you a little story. Just slow it down a bit. I've got a pet snail, yeah? Can you hear me at the back? A pet snail. And he's getting old and he's getting slow. So I thought if I took his shell off, he'd go faster, yeah? It didn't work. He was just even more sluggish. Jason, where are you? About this thing. I got up this morning and realized the drag. I'm on granny. My wife took away my best part of me. She said, you ain't going out if you don't cut that hair. You ain't going out. You gotta fight. Yeah, for your right to party. Right, here we go. My doctor said quit smoking. I said, no way. That hypocrite smokes 2 bags a day. The doctor said quit smoking and he said, no way. That hypocrite smokes 2 bags a day. You gotta fight for your right to party. 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 Oh, let's kill 2 minutes.